Hello and happy new year, everyone. Welcome to the Zonal Weakness brought to you by Ghana Football Fantasy, powered by Fantasy Football Scout. And it's Bethany on the other side, joining me all the way from the UK. Hello, Bethany. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you. Yeah. Glad. How was your game week? I'm sure it was good.
That's less lovely.
Anyway,
I'm so busy over Christmas. Like it's just a busy, like it's busy personally, like in my life, and obviously there's so many game weeks in such a short time that I just feel like I don't really concentrate on it properly. Like I just end up doing last minute, unthought, like not very well thought out decisions and things. So yeah, so I ended up at 850k. I benched 𝐁𝐴𝐧𝐚𝐥, who got me like sitting there with like a haul on my bench. Obviously captained the right person, Captain Salah. I got Hall again. He's been saving me. But yeah, I sold Trent and I benched 𝐁𝐴𝐧𝐚𝐥. So, and I don't own Rogers, don't own Bromo. Sold João Pedro 2 weeks ago. So yeah, just a bit of a terrible week, but we go again. How about you?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. After a long time, I had a very good game week, so I'm quite happy about it because since game week 10, all I see is red arrow, and I have not been able to focus due to personal reasons. But yeah, it was good to finally get a green arrow and get 84 points. So I'm back. I think from 300,000 I dropped to 2.1 million, so that is quite a drop. Yeah, and yeah, I'm back to 1.8 now personally with my team, but yeah, there's still hope and there's still half the season left. So yeah, there's still a lot to play. Not giving up yet. Yeah.
I wonder whether they
enjoyed your Christmas.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I wonder whether they're doing the second chance league again this year. I quite like that. It always makes me feel better because I definitely do better in that in the second half of the season than I do in the first half of the season.
So. That's a fake one. That's a fake one.
I'll take just doing well in anything.
That's just a fake one. I never really looked at the second chance league, to be honest. I just felt like, okay, it's a good parameter, to be honest, in terms of like, to try and see whether, how bad you have done in the first half of the season and then how good you have done in the second half of the season. So you can make that comparative analysis a little bit. But yeah, besides just making you feel better, I don't think so it does anything meaningful, right? So I never really paid attention to it, to be honest. But you never know, to be honest.
To help me with the main league.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it if you want to really have focus on your mini league. So yeah, I think. But yeah, I never really paid attention to that for some reason. I even stopped paying attention to the FPL Cup. I don't know.
I'm never very good at the FPL Cup. I'm out of it already and lost to people, like just ridiculous people that like really shouldn't have, like, I don't know, like the one, like somebody captained Isaac, even though like, and things, and I don't know, just like people that went against the grain, or people that like had like 𝐁𝐴, who got 0 points and was out a couple of weeks ago, and different things. Like they had like really terrible teams, but then they had like one person that did really well. That has never done any very well, like either like weeks beforehand, and probably will never do weeks again. But they managed to have that one person for the 1 week where they played me in the cup,
and they did well.
Yeah, for that 1 week. So yeah, I'm never very
well.
Good.
Well, one thing would make you happy that I didn't qualify.
Oh.
I didn't.
I had to work for it this time. Normally, I get through with a bye the first time, and then I'm out very quickly. But even this time, I didn't get through with a bye, and I had to work for the first time. Didn't even get through.
Yeah, and that I didn't even qualify, and I was like pretty surprised because I only figured it out, I think, last week that I didn't qualify for the FPL Cup because, I mean, like I said, my rank just fell from game week 10. I mean, it's just red arrow. It's big jumps, It's like, I wish when it comes to the green arrows, I keep jumping like that in a similar manner. That would be great, and that would be quite a story to tell. But
that was a huge, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just from game week 10, from 300,000 to game week 19 to 2.1 million. I mean, seriously, that's a fall. Yeah, you call that a fall. Anyway, let's get to the show. This is game week 10, and apologies, audience, for not being able to bring the zonal weakness for game week 19 due to personal reasons, as I said before. But yeah, we're back for the game week 20, and this is the second half beginning. So good luck with all that. And before you do, please do give us a follow, like, and subscribe because we're doing it on a regular basis. And of course, there are people like Bethany and Sankalp who are joining us on a regular basis to do the deep analysis of the zonal weakness. And all the stats that you see are taken from the Fantasy Football Scout members area. If you're interested in the membership, please do click in the link in the description below, and you'd get a 40% discount and access to all the brilliant articles from some of the great experts on FPL, and of course some of the renowned managers on FPL. Yeah, and of course you get access to the loads and loads of data. So let's see what brings. Okay, this is the transfer review, and I would give it to you, Bethany, to discuss this. Looks like it's these were two very good shouts, to be honest. But anyway, over to you.
Yeah, so we've obviously got Jackson, Isaac, and Gordon here. Isaac has just been incredible. If you don't own him already, I just don't know what you've been doing or where your rank's been going over the last few weeks, because he's returned in every single game. Like, it just, yeah, it was like 3 minutes in last game. He's just so reliable. Newcastle playing so well. So yeah, he's been a great transfer in. Gordon has had less. Been less popular. He hasn't had as many shout outs, or people haven't been talking about him as much. But I think they're now starting to talk about him as well. So I think lots of people going for the Newcastle double up going forward in attack. And I really like that. I think, yeah, it's nice to see Gordon back to his best. I don't know whether like maybe time away with England when he didn't really get off the bench and things. I think that kind of maybe has played into his start to the season. But he seems to be back doing what we know him to do really well from last season. So yeah, I really like the two of them as a double up. Jackson, however, has been completely disappointing. Fulham, I would not necessarily have expected anything there, but for him also to have blanked in the Ipswich and Everton games is really disappointing. I think we went into this thinking Chelsea had a great run, and in fact, not just Jackson, but the whole of Chelsea have been really disappointing. And yeah, maybe somebody we might be looking to move on and swap out.
Right. So anybody who's watched the overlap should actually watch the interview of Gordon with Gary Neville. And I think here he talks about, how mentally he prepares for each and every game. And it just goes into the deep analysis of his, psychosocial thinking and how he thinks football. So yeah, that would give you a little bit of idea about, every setback and how he kind of takes that setback and, how he motivates himself. So you'd get a little bit of personal understanding of Gordon a little bit. And, what you pointed out, Bethany, I think it's rightly said. So yeah, just wanted to make that clear. Right. Okay, let's get into the zonal weakness. Here is the first slide and the first 8 teams. Over to you, Bethany.
Yeah, so the first team up here that stands out is Man City, which feels like a very long time since I've been talking about Man City in a positive way. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that they're suddenly all singing, all dancing. However, Haaland did get a goal last week, which I know you'll be particularly pleased about as like his last owner standing. But actually,
I'm antique.
Yeah, but actually, I don't mind Haaland as a pick. I think the forwards slots have suddenly become really narrow. There's not really very many choices other than kind of Isaac. Obviously, Jackson disappointing. People who've sold Saka obviously have money. Bruno's out. So actually, people might have money to spend. And I don't dislike Haaland. Obviously, this week, zonal weakness against West Ham looks really good. We just saw West Ham ship loads of goals last week. So I think Haaland for this week, but also actually the next 3 or 4 weeks, they've got really good fixtures. I don't think I'm not going to say he's going to start scoring hat tricks like he was at the beginning of the season. I don't think Man City are in that place, but I don't mind him. He'd be a differential, so any goals he does score would be really nice. And I think the next 4 weeks with that money could be a nice differential. It would be Haaland I'd go for, just because I think, again, the rest are still slightly less reliable for minutes. You never know when there's going to be a benching around for KDB coming back from that long-term injury. Foden again, whereas Haaland is going to play pretty much every time. So yeah, I quite like him. Next up, we've got Aston Villa, and again, looking nice. It's just worth noting that obviously Watkins looks really nice the next couple because Duran has been had got that red card and that ban. So Watkins will definitely play those next few, and the Zonal suggests he could do really well. I like Watkins, but I think you've got to keep in the back of your mind that Duran will be back and they will share those minutes again, or Duran might go back to being the starting forward again. And the other thing to note here is that Rodgers is out because he got his yellow card ban. Only out for the one game, but I think he will make a difference. They will feel that difference not having Rodgers on the side. So I do really like Watkins, but just be wary about long term or what they're like without Rodgers. It's a shame here that next up in Newcastle, we're not seeing any white standing out. However, if you look closely, you'll see that actually chances conceded down the right flank and the centre for both Gordon, Hall and Isaac and a left flank as well are all kind of ranked 6th and 7th. So they're just outside that 5 spot that we normally look for. So I'd be still very happy to bring in or play any of those. Isaac, Gordon, Hall, Murphy this week. I think they could still do really well against Spurs. Next up, it's Brentford, and they've got a nice fixture against Southampton this week. And I think a lot of us sold Mbeumo and Visser because they did have tough fixtures, but actually, especially Mbeumo has continued to return in those tough fixtures. And I think he's getting into better positions again. So I like Mbeumo this week. Again, if you've got a spot where you're not sure if you've sold Saka, if you've still got Saka sitting around, you've got some money to do with something with him. I like Mbeumo. I think it's really nice, and their fixtures do look nicer again going forward. So maybe time to bring him back in while he's a bit of a differential. Next up, we have Fulham, who again continue to do well, particularly defensively. I really like Robinson. Again, if you haven't got him, I think he's just a pick. Forget for the rest of the season because he can bring you those clean sheets. They're pretty good defensively, and he's also getting into really nice attacking positions, providing assists and things. So Robinson, right flank, chances conceded is ranked 4th this week. Really like him. From an attacking perspective, I think it's more difficult to go for there. Obviously, Jimenez and Muniz, the chances conceded down the centre, are ranked 1st this week for Ipswich. But again, it's that who's going to start, which one of them is going to get the minutes. So I'm less keen to go there. But if you've got one of them already, definitely play them. But I probably wouldn't be buying this week. Crystal Palace haven't been too bad defensively. Obviously, there's a few standing out here. So Jackson and Palmer look like they could be good options this week. However, they've looked like they could be good options the last 4 weeks, and we've had very few returns from them. So again, I think they're players that Palmer especially, I wouldn't be selling. I'd be playing if you've got. But I definitely wouldn't be buying the likes of Jackson at the moment. I think we need to see more from him. Then we've got Nottingham Forest, who are my team of the season. I just love them. I love how well they're playing together as a team. And I think they've got some really nice options. Aina, chances conceded down the left flank. He also is really high in the bonus point system when they keep a clean sheet. He's up there, even if he doesn't get any attacking returns. Wood, chances conceded, headers. Wolves letting quite a lot of headers, so we could see a return from Wood there. But yeah, I like Aina. I also like Milenkovic. If you can't quite afford Aina, he also might get a header for you, like he did when we both sold him. Yeah, and then last up, we've got Liverpool, who... It's interesting, isn't it? Because they don't look like Man United's numbers don't look great here. Like they don't look bad here. It looks like it could be a tough week for Liverpool. But I just think seeing what we saw from Man United last week against Newcastle and seeing how well Liverpool are performing, for once, I might suggest going against the Zonal and playing only Liverpool players. I can't see anything but an absolute hauling for Liverpool and a thrashing, unfortunately. Yeah, nobody's standing out particularly, but I think if you've got Liverpool players, play them. I think they'll do well.
Right, I can't disagree with you, that one, the last assessment, to be honest. No, there's nothing to, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, what I definitely felt good about was the Haaland transfer, at least, I feel somehow like, a little bit like, okay, I've done the right thing to hold on to him for so long, perhaps. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next slide and see what's standing out. Here it is. Over to you.
Yeah. So starting up at the top, we've got Crystal Palace. Nobody standing out there. I know a lot of people have brought them in for the last game for Southampton, and most of them, other than Eze, were pretty disappointing. They've still got nice underlying numbers, but I think the Chelsea game is not going to be particularly easy. So I think there's probably a time to bench maybe if you can. Definitely not a week to buy them. But I think they'll be fine going forward. Arsenal up next again, Brighton. Not looking particularly easy game for Arsenal, and I think they are missing Saka. But again, Arsenal are Arsenal, and I think you can keep those players, but not necessarily buy them this week. Then we've got Spurs, and I think that's going to be a tough game for them. Newcastle are looking so good at the moment, and the zonal weakness doesn't suggest anywhere in particular for them, so I wouldn't buy them. And again, if you've got any Spurs assets left over, I'd probably look to bench them if you can this week. I think it might be a tough game. Then we've got Wolves, and Wolves are just so difficult to predict right now. We all had Ait-Nouri for about 6 weeks where he did absolutely nothing, all he got was cards, letting goals, and suspended. And since we all sold him, he's managed to get clean sheets and attacking returns. So again, it's interesting here that obviously down the right flank, they're ranked first, even though it's against Forest, and we think Forest are a really good, strong team. But just worth noting that they are without Kuna. Kuna's now got his ban, so that's why you won't see him in this table. But also, I think Wolves will very much notice the difference without Kuna in their attacking side. So take these with a pinch of salt. That I don't think. I think there'll be a clean sheet there for Forest this week. With no Kuna on that side, despite the chances conceded. But watch this be completely wrong, and Ait-Nouri gets 3 attacking returns again, just to spite me. Then we've got Bournemouth, who again are a bit of an odd side recently. I think defensively they've been pretty good, and so the likes of Kirkers, etc. But attacking wise, they've been a bit hit and miss. The zonal doesn't suggest anybody in particular standing out this week, so they're not a buy for me. Everton have been pretty good defensively, so bench them if you can. Don't buy them this week, I think, unless you've got defenders. Play your Kirkuses. And the other defender that I can't think of his name, that's very cheap and begins with a H, Huijsen or something. Huijsen, yeah. I think Kirkus and Huijsen could be good this week against Everton as a defensive asset, but I wouldn't be buying anybody for attacking this week. And then we've got Everton again. 𝐁𝐞𝐭𝐡𝐚𝐤 has sat on lots of people's benches, I think, recently, and gained quite a few clean sheets. I don't dislike them. Again, like I said, Bournemouth have been pretty hit and miss. So 𝐁𝐞𝐭𝐡𝐚𝐤, if you've got him, I think you're more than happy to play him. Could get a clean sheet, but also could potentially get you an attacking return down that right flank as well. Then we've got Leicester, and I just think nobody's going to be investing in Leicester despite these. Even if there might be somebody standing out, Didi. Again, we got a fifth midfielder and you really want to play him this week, you can do, but I'm not suggesting you go buy any Leicester players this week. And then finally, we've got Southampton. Interesting, obviously, Dibbling got the goal last week. Could be an interesting shout if you have got him and you benched him last week. Brentford will look to attack this, but they are leaky at the back. So Dibbling could be a really nice differential this week.
Okay, interesting. There's no João Pedro here, so I think it's time for me to sell him and get wood. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's see the team of the week. Here it is. Over to you.
Yeah, I mean, again, interesting to see some of these players that we've not seen in a while. I really like the look of Haaland and Watkins this week. It's just whether or not you want to spend those transfers on those players. Do you trust them long term? I don't know, but I do really like them this week. Again, Umbremo, it's nice to see him back. I think he could be somebody that we move back towards over the next few weeks. for the long term and just hold on actually till the end of the season almost with him. Gvardiol, I really like. It's just the budget and that trust, because you just know that City are going to concede a goal here and there. But I do like him and his attacking perspectives too. So if you've got money to throw away that you don't want anywhere else, I think going for a Gvardiol or a Haaland could be a nice differential. But don't waste really important transfers on them when you could go somewhere else. And like we've said, 𝐴𝐞𝐤, I really like. 𝐴𝐞𝐤's my transfer in this week. I think Forest have shown themselves to be really good defensively. 𝐴𝐞𝐤 gets loads of bonus points, and he also sometimes chips in with attacking returns as well. So really nice. Yeah.
Right. I think that concludes, but we will be having our transfers as well. So Bethany will be sharing some of the transfer suggestion based on zonal weakness. But yeah, thank you so much, Bethany, for this. And yeah, just before we wrap up, may I just request you not to play the wild card second? But anyway, yeah, I'll leave it to you. But I think we had a long discussion behind the scene about the wild card. But yeah, Happy New Year once again.
Do a little bit of persuading, but I still quite like the move. I need to actually go and sit in front of a computer and a spreadsheet, which I haven't done all Christmas, and actually work out whether it will work or not. But there is a 50% chance that the next time you see me, I will have played my second wild card. Yeah.
Well, keep us informed. Keep us informed, and I'm sure the Twitter community will love it. Yeah,
definitely.
On that note, Happy New Year, and thank you so much for joining. And audience, we'll be back again next week. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.